Some women don't chase. They don't beg. They don't plead for love to stay. And yet, they are never forgotten. Like shadows after twilight, their presence lingers in the soul long after their absence is sealed. Carl Jung once whispered that the soul journeys for 49 days after death, unraveling illusions and shedding false skins. But isn't it the same with the death of love, the death of illusion, the death of a self that once depended on another's gaze? The archetypal setup. There is a woman, not bound by roles, not enslaved by longing. She is archetypal, timeless, the anima that unsettles men and awakens their deepest fears. She doesn't fight for recognition because her worth is self-evident. In Jungian terms, she has faced her shadow, walked into the darkness of rejection, abandonment, betrayal, and emerged with her soul intact. The man, meanwhile, is not an enemy, but a mirror. His projections fall on her like chains, expecting her to carry his unlived life, his unspoken wounds, his mother-shaped longings. But chains can only bind if she forgets she was born with wings. Emotional turning point 1, the soul's mirror. When desire dies, when silence replaces confession, the soul does not vanish. It begins its 49-day passage, not into the afterlife of heaven or hell, but into the unseen caverns of the psyche. The woman, if she is conscious, sees how much of his longing was never for her, but for his own anima, the lost feminine buried in his unconscious. And here, she stops confusing his hunger for her worth. This realization is not soft. It burns. It tears down illusions that once felt like safety. Yet in the fire, she finds freedom. Emotional turning point 2, shadow and silence. In the first days of departure, he may fight her silence. The narcissistic shadow rebels when its mirror is taken away. Accusations arise, stories are twisted, her name becomes a battlefield for his wounded pride. But she does not defend. Defense is still a tether. Silence becomes her sword. Because she knows, projection cannot touch what has been integrated. Her shadow no longer frightens her, she has faced it, named it, embraced it. And when a woman owns her shadow, no man can weaponize it against her. Emotional turning point 3, detachment as alchemy. The Stoics called it amor fati, to love fate. Jung called it individuation, to become whole. The feminine, when awakened, embodies both. She does not cling to outcomes. She allows endings to teach her, silences to guide her, detachments to purify her. For 49 symbolic days, the soul of the bond lingers between life and death. Memories replay. Fantasies whisper. The temptation to return, to bargain, to resurrect, rises like ghosts. But she remains still, watching the illusions dissolve. Because she knows the truth, what dies is never love. What dies is attachment to projection. What remains is the soul's essence, untouched, eternal. Emotional turning point 4, archetypal confrontation. There is a moment every woman meets, when the man returns, either in body or in thought, seeking what he once rejected. He doesn't seek her, he seeks relief from the void her absence created. But by then, she is no longer the same. She has walked through her 49 nights of silence. She has buried her illusions, mourned her needs, and resurrected her worth. What confronts him is not the woman who once waited, but the sovereign feminine, an anima no longer trapped in his unconscious, but awakened in her own. The liberation. Jung warned that what we do not make conscious will control us and we will call it fate. But the awakened woman no longer confuses fate with bondage. She lets the projection die. She lets the shadow speak. She lets the silence heal. And as the 49th day arrives, whether after death, or after love, she steps into the world reborn. Unreachable. Unrepeatable. Undeniable. Final line, liberation. The woman who walks away in silence isn't weak, she simply sees more.